Welcome to Marrin Costello Radio, where we have intentional conversations with impactful people. Your weekly dose of motivation, inspiration, and entrepreneurship. Join me as we explore the ins and outs of building and running a business, interview leaders across all industries, and find the common denominator beneath it all. Welcome to Marrin Costello Radio. Today in the hot seat, we have one of my dear friends, fellow fashion designer, stylist, and creative visionary, Emery.
How you doing?
Welcome.
It feels great to be here. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. So this is very exciting, and I've mentioned this, a few times today, but you and I have worked together on projects with clients for years now. Yes, you with wardrobe and me with jewelry. But I don't know your story. So
isn't that crazy?
Selfishly, this episode is actually for me, and everybody else.
Busy.
I know. This episode is really for me, but everybody else just gets to listen in because I'm so excited to get to know the person and the story behind the professional that I adore. So this is like Christmas morning for me.
Do it.
What was little Andre like?
Badass kid. No, I'm joking. Little Andre. Well, I'm originally from New York, the Bronx to be exact. My parents are from Jamaica. So I'm 100% Jamaican.
I love that.
Yeah. So being raised in the Bronx by Jamaican parents, I mean, they're super strict. I had a curfew for sure. I was one of those kids that, would get made fun of because I had to go in early. I was on the honor roll, the principal's list. I was a good angel, but then again, I was always around the bad crowd, and basically when I say bad crowd, I mean like older people that I looked up to as far as like when it came to fashion, when it came to just music or just watching someone like that I wanted to be like, if that makes sense. So I was very inspired by my environments. Yeah. So as a kid, I definitely was into basketball. I was into sports a lot.
Were you a good athlete?
Yeah, I was.
I believe that.
In elementary school, I did basketball. In high school, I did basketball and football. And then my family's Jamaican, so they play soccer. So I'm just like, okay, look, soccer, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter, bring it on. So I was very competitive when it came to sports.
Which I'm sure you pull from in your industry now.
Definitely.
When did the creativity come into play?
The creativity came into play when I was 15, actually. This was my, I want to say sophomore year in high school. And I was in math class and I had a crush on one of my teachers, but she was an art teacher of mine. So basically, I wouldn't go to math class just so I can like hang out with my art teacher because I knew that she was on break.
Right.
And she loved me like as a student, So I pretty much just like was telling her, look, I'm really into art. I want to do something with either painting or painting on clothes or something because I was always that fly guy that people looked up to, So I wanted to change that. I wanted to make it make sense because I didn't really have money to keep up with fashion. But I had creativity to make it
exciting,
exactly. So like, let's say I would see someone in a Sean John outfit or, a really cool jacket that I couldn't afford. I would just take anything from my closet, maybe like take a t-shirt, cut up cartoon characters or just cut anything out of this really cool shirt and just glue it onto pants, shoes, jackets, just to get that, oh my God, what is that? So that was my thing. So when I was 15, I got sent to Chicago to live with my mother. And then I'm just like, wait, no more New York? Like, what do I do in Chicago? So
what prompted the move?
So my parents got divorced. Rewind back.
Okay.
So my parents got divorced when I was about 12, 13.
Okay.
My mom moved to Chicago, so I had to choose where I wanted to stay.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about the Windy City at all. So I'm like, you know what? I'm staying in New York. I'm sorry, Mom, but I love you. But you know what? We're going to have to communicate from here.
Right.
So I didn't really understand what that divorce was about, what was going to happen after. I was just thinking like, you know what? How am I going to live knowing that my parents are separate? She's in Chicago. I'm in New York, like whatever. So my dad met his wife, right? And then I guess what happened was it's like one of those movies where you meet your stepmother and you're like, fuck this girl, I don't like her, but she's the coolest. Like,
how old were you?
I was about 14.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you, like you can't tell me nothing, don't act like you're my mother, blah blah. So I had these conversations with my mom, like, yo, ma, she's trying to take over my life.
Right.
Like, and you're all the way in Chicago. What's going on? Like, this ain't right. Like, you need to fix this.
Right.
So I would blame it on my parents. So I would just get in trouble, for stupid stuff. And my dad was just like, you know what, bro? I'm sorry, but I think you need your mother.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to sit down and talk with your mother. Maybe even stay out there for a while.
Right.
But I didn't know that he was going to send me to Chicago to, like, start a new life.
Right.
This was like in the summer, I was on summer break in New York. And he's like, you know what? Just spend the summertime with your mother. So I go out there. And then when it was time to go back to New York, they hit me with the, yo, you're staying. Like, this is home now. Chicago, the Windy City. So I had to start everything all over, meet new friends.
Wow.
I even had a girlfriend in New York that I thought I was going to come back home to. I had to end that.
Oh
I had a best.
That's traumatic at 14.
Yeah.
That's so traumatic.
Yeah. So that happened. So now I'm in Chicago, on the north side of Chicago. Where there's a lot of gangbangers. There's a lot of shit going on that I didn't even know existed in Chicago, but I did some research and I was like, wait, damn, this is about to get grimy, like with my mentality and just like bringing that to the table. It was a lot for me. I didn't know how to transition that quick.
Right.
So I ended up going to public school in Chicago. Got into a few fights here and there. Got kicked out of this school. Got kicked out of that school. So my mom decided. So 4 years living in Chicago, I decided to
during high school.
During high school, yeah. So this is my freshman year of high school, right? So I'm in Chicago now. Like, it sucks.
Oh my gosh!
I have so much love for Chicago. Don't get me wrong, but just starting like my freshman, like I was a freshman in New York, but in the middle of my freshman year, I got sent to Chicago. So it was just all bad.
Right.
So now I'm in Chicago. I'm trying to figure it out. I met some friends, but the friends that I met, they're like way older. Like older dudes. These guys are like club promoters. They're introducing me to a new world now. So I'm going to parties with these guys at like 15, 16.
Right.
They don't even know that I'm in high school. They don't even know. Oh, sorry. They don't even know that I work at Steak and Shake and I make milkshakes.
But do they need to? Like, did they need to?
They don't need to, but these guys were like guys with, money. They had something going for themselves.
Right. Because they were older. It made sense.
Yeah, and they looked up to me like I was one of them.
Right.
So I felt like I had to get with the shits, you know? So, I had to work a 9 to 5 at Steak and Shake. I did my thing. And then I would go to parties every other night. Luckily my mom trusted me and, so she let me live my life. So I would go to these parties, but I never really had anything to wear because my mom was like, look, I'm not buying you freaking $100 to like $500 outfits to go party in. And like, I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. So I took whatever I had and made it happen. I would, like I said, cut cartoon characters out of my Lot 29 shirts, my FUBU shirts, my South Pole polo, whatever it was. And then I would just, make it look good, So I would present, it'll be like a fashion show for me whenever I would go out to parties in Chicago.
Sure.
Yeah. So people would be like, oh my God, that's so good. Like, I don't know. So I used that to motivate me to do more, to want to do more research on how to make clothes, how to sell clothes. If I want to do menswear, if I want to do women's wear, if I want to do streetwear, So
you were a teenager when you were asking yourself, how do I turn this into a career?
Yeah, because the mentality that I had, like growing up in New York, it was either, you're in
win or die.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm in Chicago. I'm not going to die here. So I'm going to have to find out how to win.
Right.
Right. So I took what I knew or took what I learned and utilized it and try to flip it. And when I say flip it, I mean like, I didn't want to do what other people were doing. I wanted to be different.
Right.
So I had to figure out how I can flip the knowledge that I have and make money long term. And that's when I got sent back to New York. Yeah. Okay. So fast forward a little bit. my mom didn't want me to finish high school in Chicago because I was in an alternative school with a lot of bad kids, right? So at that time, my dad moved to the suburbs of New York, so I was in a different school zone if I went back to New York.
Okay.
So I finished high school in New York in the suburbs, went to Goshen High School, and when I graduated, I had to go move with my grandmother, which had like seven kids living in her house as well. So I'm like, okay.
She's like a quintessential grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
With
grandkids living there as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So, I was the other grandkid now living there, crashing on the couch, trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I just graduated high school, and I'm like, look, I'm not about to end up on the streets like, these other people that I know. Like, I need to change the game. I need them to look at me like, okay, look, there is a way to get out the hood, and there is a way to make it happen.
Where did that idea come from? Where did that impulse come from? Was that family driven, or was that just an internal dialogue? I
think that happened when just watching my mom cry every other day, knowing that like I had the potential to be a good kid. I'm a smart kid, but I was just so hard headed. I would get in trouble in school, like just
I mean, you went
shit.
from like top of your class to like troublemaker.
Exactly.
In a moment.
Yeah. Just like snapping a finger. So just seeing like, the hardship that I put my mom through, that I put my dad through, for him to be like, yo, bro, I can't even live my life with my wife. I can't even be happy because, I was a problem child. And I was doing that on purpose a little bit, I think, just to get back. Like, look, I'm not happy, so y'all not about to be happy either.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
So moving forward now, moved back to New York. I got into a car accident with my car, so I couldn't live upstate New York anymore because that's the only way to get around is a car. So I moved back to the Bronx with my grandmother, right? Crashing on her couch. So I got a job at Armani Exchange on Fifth Avenue, working stock.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that must have been really eye-opening to see the behind the scenes of a brand. Because you and I just spoke before that we started recording that people don't really understand what goes into the behind the scenes of making a product, of a final product, and how many people's hands have touched it, and what the systems look like and the protocol.
Right.
So tell me about what that experience was like, experiencing that maybe for the first time.
Well, so my first retail job was actually Levi Strauss.
Okay.
And, excuse me, and I was working at the outlet as a stock supervisor. And basically, I actually wanted to be a sales rep because I knew how to sell clothes, but I guess my appearance at the time wasn't really like, okay, let's put this guy on the sales floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't dressing tacky, but I wasn't confident enough to match what was going on. So I understood why they had me in the behind the scene. Right. So I'm like, cool, whatever, I'll learn. So, I became, I guess, the number one stock guy for the company. And I graduated to being a sales associate on the sales floor, which was surprising to me. So that's when I graduated high school and moved to the Bronx. So I actually took that experience and took it to Armani Exchange.
Amazing.
So working at Armani Exchange, they put me as a sales associate again. And I was on the men's floor, which was downstairs. And I always wanted to work on the women's floor because I felt like, oh my God, like this is where all the celebrities are. Like this is where they're making the money, because we had sale goals.
Right.
I never really met my sales goal working on the men's floor. But when I got transferred to the women's floor now, that's when I started meeting my sales goal. That's when I started like paying attention to how, I speak to women, how I sell clothes, like how I want my ideal lady to look and what I want her to wear. So this
and how you want her to feel.
And how I want her to feel.
And how old were you at this point?
I was about 18, 19.
Still such a youngin'.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I got transferred to the women's floor. And then the first day I got transferred, guess who my first client was to dress? Grace Jones.
Oh my gosh. Casual.
Yeah. So I'm like folding clothes, just organizing. And my manager, Brian, goes, hey, so Grace Jones is about to walk in. I want you to help her. I want to see what you can do. I'm like, bro, don't test me. I'm like, you're joking right now. Because Brian is just like, we're always like having jokes here and there, but he was serious. He wasn't laughing. He's like, no, bro. He was actually like rushing, like, okay, you got to get the store prepped, blah, blah, blah. So Grace Jones walks in with her assistant. and I'm folding. I'm like in the corner waiting on Brian to call me, and I'm nervous. Like I'm sweating, so I'm like, okay, you got this. Ooh, breathe. So Grace walks in. Oh my God, yes, darling, amazing. Yeah, she's being Grace Jones.
Right.
So Brian goes, hey, Andre, help her out. Just get a fitting room ready for her, whatever. So this is my first time actually styling a client, and I'm like that confident enough that whatever I'm giving her, I know she's going to buy.
Your first styling opportunity in your professional career is on a whim styling Grace Jones.
Yes.
No pressure.
No pressure. Right? So I'm giving her whatever she's asking for. Like we're in the fitting room now, and her assistant is like, look, no photos, whatever you do, like just give her what she wants, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn, bro. Okay, whatever. I'll make it work. So I'm giving her sizes, whatever. That's not working out. All right, I'll bring it back to the floor, give her something else. But then I will bring something that I will feel that will look good on her, that will make her feel good based on the orders that she's giving me. Mm-hmm. And it was working. Mm-hmm. Like everything I would bring out that she didn't ask for, she'd be like, oh my God, I love this. Like, how'd you know? I didn't know, but here, try it on, see how it works. So everything that I gave her, she would actually just exchange that for what she would take. She'd be like, wait, I like this better actually, right? So long story short, you know how I was like, her assistant said no photos or whatever. Grace actually said, you know what? If you want a photo, we should take one.
Okay.
Out of nowhere. Like I didn't ask her for anything. I didn't tell the assistant, like, look, can I please get a photo? I feel like she wanted this moment to be memorable for me.
And for her.
Because,
it was a moment together.
Yeah, because it's just something that was brought up. She literally was like, look, I think we should take a photo.
I love that.
And her assistant took the phone, took a photo of us in the fitting room where I was helping her in the clothes that I styled on her. So that was my calling.
Do you still have the photo?
I do.
Oh my gosh.
Show you. Yeah. Yeah,
I was like, that needs to be framed.
Yeah,
that's
course,
a forever photo. What a moment.
So we took the photo, and I met my sales goal for the day, the first day that I was on the women's sales floor. Through Grace Jones.
Oh my gosh.
And I had the photo and everything.
What did that moment do for you as far as shifting your perspective, and what did you ask yourself as far as your career?
How to use the experience and utilize that, because I'm so motivated right now. Grace Jones just told me that follow your dreams. Like she basically looked me in my eyes and was like, look, bro, you see this place right here? This is just a start, but me, I am the one, and I'm giving you the answer. Like this is what you just gave me, and this is how I feel. So that should tell you, like, you're ready for whatever you want to do. You're ready.
So you guys actually had a personal moment and a connection.
We did
together.
We did, without a lot of words being used. She basically was like, look, this is it. I'm Grace Jones. This is the photo that you're going to use throughout your whole career to remind yourself that it's possible. After that, I was like, okay, cool. Done. So that night I went home to my grandmother's house, and I'm watching TV, and I see a commercial pop up for the Art Institute of California. So I'm like, kids running around. I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get the fuck out. So there was a number on the screen, called it, for the Art Institute. They were like, look, if you want to sign up, whatever, fill out the application. So I called the number, nobody picked up. I fill out an application online, but I didn't finish filling out the application. So I get a call from the administrative
office.
So they call me and goes, hey, we see that, you have an incomplete application. We would like for you to finish so we can like show you what we can offer. I'm like, cool, I'll do that. So I finished it up. The California office called me and was like, hey, if you're a student from out the country or out of state, whatever. And they said, this is all you need. So I signed up for college before that, but my parents were making a little bit more than I needed them to make for me to get like the grants and like the financial aid.
Right.
So for me to go to college, they would have to sign up, and they didn't want to. They didn't have the money to.
Right.
So the second time I signed up, I'm like, okay, look, this is what I have to do. I have to say that I don't know my parents.
Literally.
Literally. That's what I did.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you can hear that out. So I basically said, I don't know my parents.
You have to do what you have to do, though.
So I said, I don't know my parents. They got deported back to Jamaica. I live with my grandmother, which I was living with.
Right.
but she couldn't really do anything. She was a retired worker. Like, she couldn't pay for my school, whatever. So they go, all right, well, you need letters from your grandmother. You need saying that, she was taking care of you, whatever. You need a letter from your school counselor. You need a letter from your dean. I wrote all 3 letters.
Oh my God.
And I sent it to them. So they said, okay, these all look good. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? They look good? Okay, cool. They're like, yeah, these look good, but you need a letterhead from your school. So that was the only thing holding me back. My ex-girlfriend, her dad was the dean of the school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she had letterheads for days.
Right.
And I made her like rewrite what I wrote and then sent it, got approved. So I told my mom, I'm like, yo, Mom, I think I got approved to go to school in California. She's like, how the hell are you going to go to, who do you know out there? Like, there's nobody out there. There's no family. We don't have anybody out there that can help you. That's fine, Mom. I'm going to figure this out. Trust me. Because Grace Jones just told me. I just had Grace Jones tell me, like, you're good. You got this. So I'm out.
Oh my gosh.
And then plus, I was a blogger at one point, like just not actual blogger, but I would go on Tumblr a lot and I would see the palm trees and the amazing art and like, the amazing stars always in Hollywood, So I was like, okay, cool. Glitz and the glam. Got to be there. So.
How many years ago was that?
This was in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
did California, obviously not during COVID, but did California fit the bill? When you arrived here, what was your relationship to Los Angeles? Because you're coming off of being in Chicago and New York twice.
Yeah.
So what did this place do for you?
The first day I landed in LA, right? My school gave me directions from the airport. They said, look, take a shuttle all the way to school and we'll give you your key, right? I took the wrong shuttle. I ended up on the city bus.
Oh my gosh.
With my New York luggage on a packed city bus, right? Coming from LAX all the way to Culver City on a city bus. Yeah. So that was my introduction.
Welcome.
But I was so happy. I was just looking around like, oh my God, palm trees. That's the beach. I pull up to my door. I'm like, wait, this is a villa. What's going on? This is like a movie. Yeah, so that was my introduction.
I love it. And do you feel that LA's been good to you?
Yes, LA has been really good. I'm actually celebrating my 10th year in LA.
Amazing.
Well, in April, it'll be my 10th year in LA, which is crazy to me.
I've been here for 15 and I'm like, how did that happen?
How did that happen? Right? So, and I've had my brand since 2017. And that's when I realized, like, look, this is me. Like, this is what I want to do. So
there's a 5-year gap between you arriving here and you formally starting your brand. What did that 5-year gap, what was that like?
Hella networking. Just getting people to know Andre. You know what I'm saying? Like, not my brand, because I didn't want to just sell my brand, because I'm just another guy moving to LA from New York that has a lot of dreams, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's moving to LA to live those dreams. So I didn't want to sell that to people because I'm like, I don't want to be that other guy that you don't want around because I'm just busy selling you shit. You know what I'm saying? So
that's very smart. That's very perceptive of you at that age.
Because I would hate that. Like, I would hate when somebody would come up to me all the time and be like, oh, we should collab. Let's work together. Like, bro, you don't even know me. Like, you don't know what I'm working. Like, you don't know if it even fits what you're doing.
But also, like, define collab. That's one of my love-hate words in the industry. I'm like, explain to me what that means to you.
Well, I feel like a collaboration with me, basically when you and the other artists that you want to collab with has a lot in common, or like you guys are basically reaching for the same goal, or if whatever you're reaching for makes sense to the both of you guys, so you guys can put it together and think longevity. That's what a collaboration is to me. Like, I don't like, whenever I collab with someone, I want to think about the long run. I don't just think about like little cents here and there just to like make this pop right now, right here.
Of
like
course.
I think about, okay, in a few years from now, this day we should be doing round 2 or round 3 of what we just started.
Right.
That's what a successful collaboration would be.
That's so interesting. When I hear the word collaboration, I'm like, do you just want free shit?
Pretty much.
Like, what does that what does that actually mean from like a business perspective? I get it from a creative perspective.
Yeah.
Like we can sit there and design things all day long, but I'm also like give me more,
Yeah.
you know?
I feel like during Corona, I actually learned a lot about like what people are easily, what they like to be sold to, like, so like influencers, they would reach out to us and always hit us up and ask us to collab. With that question being asked, I feel like they just want, like you said, free shit. A collaboration is like you two actually coming up with an idea together.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship. Like you don't like pitch me an idea and be like, look, we should collab because I have this. And, like, no, we have to like both kind of like be into the same thing.
Totally.
Like the models that you're using for your jewelry brand, like if I'm using a similar model or similar look, or if I'm making something that fits your jewelry, yeah, let's do it. That's a collaboration because it works and we're both aware that this will work. Not might work, but I mean, yeah, we're taking chances, but this will work because we're going to put our bread and butter and every last penny or every last breath, every last, muscle we have into this project, because this is my baby.
Right, for sure.
Like this is why I named my brand Andre Emery, is because it's me. It's what I'm putting in based off of my experience, based off of how I want to see things, based off of how I perceive things, based off of what I'm getting back. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think it's a selfish thing, but I mean, I just feel like, you have nothing and nobody else to blame but yourself, as you're growing. So
I think it's interesting that we're having this conversation because you and I both have eponymous brands, but you sought out with intention to name your brand after yourself. That kind of happened to me by happenstance because I couldn't figure out an alias name that fit me that didn't have a timestamp. I totally
understand what you
mean.
So
I couldn't be like Jules by Mare. So I was like, I'll just do Marrin Costello and then I'll do a DBA later.
It's you though. Like that's all you know.
But it makes sense now.
Yeah, right.
So where did you get that gumption to say, no, I am going to name this after myself?
Being confident. Like,
where does that come from?
Just working or just being in the same room with someone who you always looked up to.
Grace Jones.
Yeah.
It came from Grace Jones.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so
that was such a pivotal moment for you.
Oh my God. And then after Grace, the next moment that I had with another celebrity made me feel even more confident. I'm like, oh snap, Rihanna? Like, or like, oh snap, Lil Nas. Like, it's just like a lot of situations that happen. I might be listening to a song, that Beyonce made or whatever. Beyonce's on the radio. And that day I might be like, yo, bro, I feel like this outfit right here would look really good on Beyonce. Who's styling her? Who do I know that might know her? Like, let's make it happen.
I want to get into that because you are probably one of the most spectacular networkers and connectors that I have ever met. And I know this from personal experience because from the moment that we met, it was like this super easy, fluid relationship. We're able to support each other from all angles, whatever we need. We were obviously connected. Organically. Yeah. Connected through a mutual friend. So there was that vetting process. But I'm curious to know, because I think that my networking skills are a little bit nature and a little bit nurture. Where do your networking skills come from? Because you are so impressive. It is such an impressive quality that you have.
You. Well, I just feel like I was put into the battlefield without knowing who I'm up against, and that's just me moving to LA, not knowing what I'm actually getting myself into, but just being as confident, knowing that I have no choice but to survive. Right. So, networking in LA and just meeting people, down to me, having to host parties with promoters that I knew in the past. I mean, some of them will ask me to help them promote because I'm in a different game and it might help them. So sometimes I'll be, at the club, helping them and just meeting people with money, meeting celebrities, meeting stylists, meeting models at the club or like at an after party and then doing business after that. Like I had to, do things, working at Armani Exchange, like being a stock guy, being a host at a party. It's just different avenues, different lanes I have to take to get to where I'm at in order to build that confidence. Yeah. So
when you talk about the concept of creating a piece and then going, oh, this would look great on a particular celebrity, what does that networking and reach out process look like for you? Like, especially during COVID, because, you know, there are so many constraints. So how has your networking changed during this time to make things happen?
So basically, I'm more of the go out and get it yourself kind of guy, you know. But I guess during COVID, I actually sat back and had a lot of time to reach out to people via emails, via the internet. So I just feel like right now I'm just kind of like more into that. Like I have more leeway of like doing my research. Like, okay, like with a Beyonce situation or whatever artist that I have dreams of styling or designing for. I'm not going to reach out to them. They're busy. They're doing their thing. But just know that there's people that work with them, for them, that's easy for you to reach out to, you know? So I feel like just having that confidence in knowing that your shit is dope enough for them to put it on their client, you need to have that confidence because, I mean, sometimes you might not know the artist, but you kind of can tell like this artist is in need. Like this artist needs this piece because I see what they're trying to do, but I'm someone who they can use and actually execute that.
Right.
You know, so like if I see someone doing something that I understand the reference that they used, you know, like they probably used like a Dolly reference or like a Clint Eastwood or Grace Jones reference in this new music video, right? But they shopped the item, like, you know, it's probably a costume or something, but I know that I can make this better, 10 times better, you know, with us just being in one room talking about this. So that's a relationship I like to build with people, just knowing that, like, look, I can make it happen with a simple conversation, with a good relationship, and then let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. What does your team look like? Because I want people to know that there are so many different facets to your brand and to your business. Yeah. I mean, you are a true creative. You're a fashion designer. You're a stylist. You kind of do all the things when it comes to your like creative house name brand. Yeah. What does that look like on the back end?
I mean, it isn't simple as people seems it is, you know? So, I mean, right now I have a small team. We're killing it. It's me, my girlfriend. She helps me out. She helps me out a lot with being organized and, you know, just keeping that creative juice going whenever I'm down, you know, because I mean, we always have our down times, but we always need someone to like uplift us, whether it's someone or something, you know? So I feel like she's a really good support system. My mom, my dad, my friends, you know, yourself as well, you know? So just me being on your show, I mean, it's huge for me. It's just like, okay, you support me, we work together, but you also want to get to know me more as well, you know?
Well, so I think there's something to be said about when you are driving the ship, you are oftentimes celebrating everybody else, and it's not necessarily the reciprocal of that. Like, so I would like to take as many opportunities as I can to celebrate people that I know are doing so much for other people. And that's how I feel about you, genuinely, is that the people that you've connected me to and just the projects that you've brought me in on, I'm like, I'm so grateful, but also I'm like, who is this wonderful human in my life? I have to get to know him, you know? Are you self-funded or do you have partners in your business?
Well, I am self-funded. So basically I started the brand in 2017 and I had an investor at first in 2017. That was a crazy fun ride. But that was our first time actually, you know, getting into that venture of, you know, because he's a tech guy. He was a tech guy. Like he actually made eHarmony.
Wow.
Yeah. So he had nothing to do with fashion. Like I actually had to help his fashion senses and make that happen for him. But so in 2017 we had an investor. 2018 we were still friends, but he wanted to venture off into different things. Like he was like, look, fashion is a little too slow for me. Plus this is like me just starting a brand and I didn't really have the connection that I have now.
Right.
You know, so so I had help in 2017, but from 2018 till now, it's just self-funding.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's just like me, you know, just basically keeping my clientele satisfied. Just like paying attention to the longevity of our relationship, not just looking at it like, just they're my client, but, just having great friends involved and just like, having people believe in you.
Right. Would you recommend being self-funded or getting an investor? Knowing what you know now.
Knowing what I know now, I would definitely love to have an investor.
Okay. But
I don't mind self-funding either, because I also want my potential investor to see the work that I've put in, So if I do ever ask for something, they know that it's going to go beyond, what I'm selling them. So I want them to see like what I can do on my own first.
Totally. I want to talk about the circle back moment for you of showing at New York Fashion Week, because you were raised in New York.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then you moved out to LA, and then you went back to New York to showcase your brand. Tell me about that experience and how that came to be and what that did for you as a creative.
So basically that was huge. That was a huge moment in my life, honestly. So the first show I had was in New York at the I'll come back to that. But it was an amazing, this spot was like in all the movies that I used to watch. Like it's the Cipriani. The Cipriani. It's huge. So I got hit up one day to do a show from Style Fashion Week. Yeah, Style Fashion Week. They emailed me like, hey, we would like for you to be in let me rewind. So they actually hit me up in LA to do a show at the at this really nice venue in LA, and I had no money, I had no funding or anything, so they were selling me packages. And I'm like, wait, why are you asking me to be in a show and you're selling me packages? Like, I don't know, but it's not gonna work.
Right.
I'm sorry, because I'm self-funded right now, and I can't pay you $3,000 to show.
When was this? What year was this? Do you remember?
This was, I want to say 2017.
2017.
Yeah, 2017, 2018, around then. This show is at the Pacific Design Center. Place is huge, right? So my friend Chelsea hits me up and goes, hey, so I know that you're working on your line right now. There's this fashion designer that from London that was supposed to show in LA Fashion Week, but they can't show anymore. So do you want to fill this spot? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, I don't have anything ready right now, but I'm down.
What was the timeline between when you got the call and when you needed to show?
2 weeks.
How many looks?
30.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I have to tell you about this experience. Yeah. So this is like, okay, so I get the call 3 weeks into the show, right? 2 weeks into the show, I know that I'm actually doing the show, and I probably only have like 5 pieces ready, right? So I'm freaking out. It's up to the point where I had to move in my seamstress. Literally, I had to move in my seamstress.
There was no other option.
I'm like, bro, you can crash on my couch, like, but I need you here. You can't leave. I have my first fashion show coming up. Like, you cannot leave, and I can't really pay you a lot, but I got this big ass loft, and it has a lot of room, and all your machines at your studio, you bring them bitches here. So he had like eight huge industrial machines, and I had like a 14,000 square foot loft in downtown LA. His name is Antonio. I love this guy. So,
do you still work with him?
No, I don't. He's around, but I don't work with him anymore. But so he brought all 8 machines. We set it up so whenever you walk into my spot, it looks like a studio. So yeah. So Chelsea's like, look, so you just need 20 to 30 pieces.
That's it.
In my head, I'm like, I can hardly pay rent here.
But also, there's not even a day per look.
No.
You have to crank out like 2 to 3 looks per day.
Oh, we were cranking out like 5 looks per day. There was no sleep for us. And I had models at the house, at the spot. It's like every day doing fittings, like, 5 models at a time, just like showing us how they walk, how the dress would look. 'Cause this is my first show. This is like the introduction to Andre Emery. This is what I've been working hard for.
Had you, before this moment, like created your business, had your brand? Did you have a platform already, or this was the introduction to everything?
I had a platform, like I had Chris Brown wearing my stuff, like, but I didn't really have pieces that were hitting. Like I didn't have iconic pieces. Like I think, people would say that those pieces were iconic, but I knew that I had.
There was more.
There was more to come.
So much more.
And I didn't have the funds or like the time to show people, So when I got this opportunity, I'm like, bet I got to do this. I got to show out. And I had to explain that to Antonio, like, yo, bro, I love you, bro, but like, I need your help. We can both use each other's help, right? So moved them in. We cranked out maybe like 30 looks in about a week and a half. Had all the models, had style fashion people at the loft interviewing me and all this stuff. Meanwhile, I'm getting ready for the show, a big show. And I'm freaking out, low key. So long story short, fast forwarding, I killed the show.
Duh.
I got
a
really great response. Yeah, got a really great response. Had like the top tier influencers on my runway. Like it was a lot of shit that happened. I was like, wait, I don't even know how I nailed this, but it happened, right? Moving forward now, I found out that I sold 3,000 tickets.
Shut up.
But not me, but the people who booked me. I sold them three. I made three.
You pulled 3,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Casual.
Hair flip. And what did I get out of it? Exposure.
Sure.
Whatever. I wasn't tripping. But then, I kind of wanted to end that because I'm like, look, you guys made money. I didn't get any money, but they hit me with the but people have to spend money to actually be in our show. So I'm like, okay, makes sense.
Fair.
So a few months passed and they hit me up again. They're like, hey, so we just got the Cipriani in New York and we would love for you to show. What? The Cipriani, New York? I get to go back home? How much you want? Nothing. Just bring your A game.
I just got chills.
Just bring your A game like you did before. Done. Easy. Dad, what's up? So remember the Cipriani? Yeah, I work down the street. Yeah, so I have a show on this date. Yeah, right. No, seriously, I'll send you the link. So I send him the link. My mom is like, my name on a huge flyer. Cipriani, this date. Boom. Movie. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I'm phoning all my friends and family, telling them like, yo, I got a show in New York. I'm posting on Instagram. People are like, oh my God. Sold out tickets now. Tickets are sold out. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like this is crazy. Like I've never really thought that this would happen now, but it's happening.
Was that the show that you pulled my jewelry for?
No, that was...
I was going to say, you've showed multiple times.
But that was in New York, though.
Yeah,
I had 2 shows in New York.
You're a veteran now.
Thank you. Yeah, so... Yeah, oh my God, yeah. So that New York show was crazy. That actually ended up in the New York Times.
Incredible.
Yeah. Like I Googled myself after that and New York Times popped up. I was like, what the hell? They were like, yeah, so this designer, Emery, put triplets on the runway, but gave them different looks. He's different because other designers would have put them all in the same look because they're triplets, but he changed the game. I was like, okay.
I feel like I didn't realize I did that, but love that for me.
Yeah, love that for me though. Great. New York Times, amazing. So yeah, so that was my New York experience. And then a few years after that, I had my last show was in New York as well at the Sony Hall. So these are places that I actually watched as a little kid. Like, oh my God. This show was at the Sony Hall. Oh my God, this movie was shot at the Cipriani. Oh my God, I'm in this environment now. So like,
did you feel in those moments that you like arrived and delivered? Like, did you feel like, oh, this is like I am someone?
Honestly, like I always have high expectations for myself, and I'm always humble. So like, I never had that feeling like I made it. It was always like, okay, I'm getting closer. Because I always expect to do better, to get to higher reaches in life.
I pull from both directions too. It's like, I know that I'm the best, but I also know that I'm no one.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's like the meeting of the two.
Exactly. Yeah. So I see it as, okay, look, if people are watching, if I get these opportunities, then I need to go harder because this can get somewhere like more epic than what it is now. This is just the beginning. Imagine how, like, what else is there Come.
Well, you mentioned you're so competitive. Do you find that you're competitive with other people, or is it more of a competition with yourself?
It's a competition with myself.
Yeah.
I try, like, being competitive with other people, it just burns you out sometimes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what do you, like, you're probably up to the point where it's just like, what are we even competing about? Like,
Totally.
Like, what? Like, we're probably not even in the same game. Like, why are we competing? Like, you drive me to do better.
Right.
And that's what it is. I drive you to do better. So why are we in competition? Like, no, let's just get together and make it happen. If you want to be in competition, bro, then, I mean, hey, the competition that I see is motivation. And I feel like that's competition between other people. It's just like motivation. So that's how I see it. And I'm competitive with myself. Of course, I see other people that are doing better and I see the potential.
Sure.
But we don't know their story. We don't know how they got there. I know how I got here. I know how I got to Cipriani. I know how I got to Grace. I know how I got to all the things that I've accomplished, so I don't want to be in competition with nobody else because I don't know their story.
Totally.
So, yeah.
I wish that people could be here in your presence and kind of feel your energy because it's very grounded and it's very confident and it's very calming. So I'm curious as to what does your daily routine / self-care look like? Like, how do you stay so grounded and namaste? Like, what's the secret sauce for you? And I'm sure it's a journey, but what does that look like for you?
Just knowing that there's way more to what's being offered. I mean, like, I don't ever like a handout. I've seen a lot of people take, the easy way out or easy way in, but I'm all about the journey, and that's...
You like to earn it.
I like to earn it. I like to work hard for it. Like, if it's given to me so easy, then I can lose it that easy, because that's what I experience in life. Like, so I want to work hard for whatever I believe in, and I want the people that work with me to believe in my dream and also to understand my journey and why I'm the way I am, So I feel like that's kind of like it's not a problem, but like, I feel like social media now is just like, people are just painting these pictures and it's just like, that's not who I am. But if you heard or if you know my journey, you would understand more.
That is why we're here.
Yeah. So I don't look for like, I don't post just to like get confidence to like build me up to do more. Like, I post so people can actually see like, this guy is actually talented. Like, he actually makes his own clothes. Like, he actually knows how to drape. Like, he's actually just hanging out and just being a normal kid. But he also has Lil Nas at the Super Bowl.
Let's talk about that, because that was a happenstance moment for you. Yeah. How did you get in contact with Lil Nas initially? Because we collaborated on that.
Yes, we did. We
on
killed
that. That was amazing. That was like a come to Jesus moment for me.
Oh my God, yeah, it was. It's funny because so I actually got hit up by a stylist, Hodu. She's amazing. We worked together on a few projects before she became Lil Nas' stylist. So, and that's a relationship that I was talking to you about. I'm like, I build with people based off of relationships. Like, I'm pretty sure if I sold her all my fashion, like all my ideas, she'd be like, I don't know if I want to work with this guy. But it was so genuine, our relationship. Like, we could talk about just the game and how stressed we were, So like, when she got the opportunity to style Lil Nas, I was probably the first designer she hit up. So she requested what she requested, and we made it happen. And so I don't know if she knows what they're shooting for. I'm not sure if like the manager just sends her dates and like, just get outfits for these dates, but she didn't tell me that it was for the Super Bowl. And she didn't tell me that it was for whatever commercial it was for. She just said, look, this is what I want. This is a look
for Lil Nas. Yeah. And we need you to execute on this look with no information.
No. Cool. That's totally fine. Like, I'll do it. This is what I need from you, and I'll deliver. Boom. It happened. Never spoke about it again.
How long ago was that?
I made the outfits for Lil Nas, I want to say like mid last month. Yeah.
Okay. So mid-January.
Mid-January, yeah. So we made him 2 silk pajama sets with a few tops to go with it and a few bottoms to go, like pants. And I don't ask questions. I'm just like, look, I know this is gonna look amazing on him. You know, I'm choosing the swatch colors for you, the fabric, everything. I know that on his skin tone, on on the on the truck that he might drive in his video, I know that the silk might, drape in the wind. Like I'm giving them, I'm painting the picture that I have in my head to them. So they're like, oh shit, you get it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it all up to you then.
Great.
So they do that. I do my job, give it back to them, and then I just see it on TV or like on the internet, just like in this music video. Sometimes people would just tag me like, bro, ain't this yours? Like she wouldn't hit me up. She wouldn't tell me like, yo, it's on Super Bowl because she's busy doing other things.
So you make this outfit for Lil Nas. You send it to his stylist, Hoda.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And at what point do you get informed that not only is this piece that you've made for him on television, but it's on television during the commercial break of the Super Bowl?
Oh my God, I have to tell you my Super Bowl story though.
Tell me.
Hold on. Okay. So when I first moved to LA, right, I was staying on campus, and there's this guy who moved into my dorm. His name was Gary, and he wasn't working. He had to pay bills just like I did, but I was working retail job at BCBG as a stock guy, right? And then Gary wasn't working, but he was like a computer tech, a nerd, whatever. So he would go on Craigslist to look for his jobs, like just to get, a little side money. So one of the gigs that was on Craigslist was a study group, right? So he goes, bro, I'm at work at BCBJ. He goes, bro, if you come to the study group, they give you $100 as soon as you step in the door. I'm like,
sold.
I'm like, okay, but I couldn't move. I couldn't leave my job at the time. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm like, all right, cool. Tell me how it is when we get home tonight. So he goes, and long story short, it ends up being a vitamin water commercial that ended up showing at the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh!
And he didn't know that it was going to show at the Super Bowl.
So he's on a Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah.
Oh
for vitamin water.
Oh my gosh!
When he first moved from Delaware.
For $100.
For $100. But every time it'll play, he would make money. But I didn't know. But yeah, he was on a Super Bowl commercial.
Insane.
So people were just reposting. Oh my God, Gary's doing really good in LA. Oh my God, as soon as you got there, you're a star now. In my head, I'm like, God damn, I've been here for like 2 years now. And I'm like over here working my ass off, and you're on Super Bowl commercials. What the fuck is going on? I need to figure this out. So fast forward. Now I got Lil Nas wearing my shit at the Super Bowl.
Similar story when you didn't realize that it was going to be for that particular opportunity.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
what a moment.
It's crazy.
What
so yeah, I actually want to talk to Gary about that. Like, bro, remember when I was like, I want to be on the Super Bowl screen, with like a celebrity wearing my shit, because like he's probably the only person I had that conversation with.
I love it when moments come all full circle.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So like I told my girlfriend yesterday, I was like, it's so crazy because I had this conversation with a friend, like when he was on Super Bowl, like his face was on the screen, but he didn't know that was going to happen. Like that wasn't his dream to become like a background or like, someone on TV. So, when that happened for me, I was like, oh shit, that is crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what is next for Andre Emery, the person and the brand? How can we celebrate you?
Well, you can celebrate me by going on my website.
Love that.
Shopping with Andre Emery. And I'm getting more into home goods. So you'll see a lot of that on my online store. What else? I'm working on this consulting company.
Amazing.
Yeah. I don't want to speak too much on that now, but that's
just
in the works.
Teaser.
Yeah, just a little teaser.
Little teaser.
And then I have a lot of artists that I'm working with. Caliucci has something coming out something cool coming out soon. And yeah, just a lot of updates on the website and just staying in contact with me through social media, and I'll keep you guys posted.
So we can find you on AndreEmery.com and Andre Emery
official
on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes.
Amazing. Well, I just have to thank you so much because it has been such a pleasure watching your journey, but also being part of it. And I'm so grateful to be on the receiving end of how you celebrate the people in your life. And I'm just so
I'm so pumped to share your story with the world.
Thank you. And I'm pumped too for the world to hear it.
I know. So good. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my goodness. What an incredible interview with Andre Emery, fashion and designer extraordinaire. If you love this show as much as we do, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast and the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in to Marrin Costello Radio. See you next week.